Hi, my friend, and welcome back to The Obedient Rebel. Question for you. Have you ever said, I just need to find balance? Maybe it's between work and family, that work-home life balance everybody talks about. Maybe it's between your faith and ambition, or between serving everyone else and having something left for yourself. Balance sounds and looks really good on paper, but here's the truth. Balance is a myth, and chasing it will wear you out. In case you're new here, let me remind you what it means to be an obedient rebel. At its core, obedient rebels obey God's laws and break their rules so that they can access deeper levels and claim deeper levels of calm, clarity, and confidence. And part of that is breaking the rule that says balance is the goal. Because here's how balance usually shows up in a high achiever's head. Usually sounds like if I give more to my business, I'm failing at home. If I rest, I'm neglecting my responsibilities. If I prioritize faith, I'll fall behind in results. If I don't juggle it all perfectly, I'm letting someone down. Or how do I say no without feeling guilty? I feel so bad every time I say no. Does this sound familiar? Because guess what? This is not balance. That's bondage. God never asked you to walk a tightrope between competing priorities. He asked you to walk in rhythm with Him. So what are we rebelling against today? We are rebelling against the pressure to balance it all, as if the proof of success is keeping every plate spinning. Instead, we're going to obey God's rhythm and flow, seasons, cycle, a divine pace that gives you both productivity and peace. I used to tell myself, if I could just find balance, everything would be better. I just need some balance. And then I actually just tossed balance out the window, but I felt really guilty for that because the rule was if you have balance in everything, then you're successful. But I found that I could not be present when I was at work because I felt guilty that I wasn't home with my children. I've always worked from home. I felt guilty that I wasn't always available to my children. And when I was with my children, I wasn't present with them because I felt guilty that I wasn't working, because I was obeying the lie and that rule that society had foisted upon me, that balance is actually the goal. And if things aren't balanced, then I clearly am not doing it right. Balance felt impossible because it is. Because when one area goes up, another goes down. And instead of peace, all we feel is guilt. Now, long before I created my own empire and this obedient rebel movement that I'm founding and leading, I worked in direct sales, and I did quite well in direct sales. And I remember being at a retreat with she was my director, and all of my colleagues that were on her team. And I'm just going to say it, I was crushing it. I was crushing it in recruiting. I was crushing it in sales. I was crushing it with a full calendar. And one of the women looked at me and she was like, man, how do you have balance? And I wanted to say something about, how easy it was. And I just looked at her and I'm like, I don't have any balance. And I felt so guilty for saying that, but that actually just came, that was 20 years ago that I had that conversation. It was crazy, but that's how it was. And I felt really guilty that I didn't have any balance, but what I did have was bondage. So here's the thing. Balance is not the goal though. Rhythm is. So I was off in my rhythm, and that's why I felt that, I thought it was because I don't have any sort of balance, and that's why I felt guilty. But the guilt and the upset was my rhythm. My rhythm was off. Think of it like music. You don't need every note playing at the same volume all the time. That is called noise. What we need is rhythm, different notes, different emphasis, creating harmony together. And that's how God designed life. He designed it seasons for work, seasons for rest, seasons for building, seasons for receiving. There are times, our culture is like busy season, right? Like, oh, we're always in busy season or tax season. We really do use the vocabulary of seasons, but we don't allow ourselves to actually follow the rhythm of nature and follow the rhythm of cycles. To us, we're always in busy season. It doesn't matter. And yet all of the examples around us, I'm looking outside my window right now, and right now we're in late summer, early fall, and I'm like, oh, the leaves are changing color, leaves are falling off the trees, like things are starting to slow down. Like we've got this perfect divine example of living in seasons, actually creating a wonderful rhythm we can follow, and yet we put ourselves above nature and we put ourselves above God because that's what society wants. The society wants God out of our life, and then we wonder why we're exhausted all the time. We're wondered why success feels so empty. We wonder why we don't feel fulfilled like we thought we would. So there are seasons for everything. So when you stop chasing balance, and when I stopped chasing balance and I started asking, what's the rhythm for this season for me? Lord, what's the rhythm of this season for me? Things started to shift. Suddenly, I wasn't pulled in 1,000 directions. I was actually moving in flow. And this is hard to do, my friends. I'm not going to lie to you about that. We have deep conditioning. We have deep programming that says if we're not growing, we're dying. If we're not constantly moving, we're going to get behind. And so we do have to battle that programming and all of the messages that social media and that the news and that society just thrusts on us all the time. And if you want to make it easier on yourself, stop listening to the news and stop scrolling through social media. Be very, very picky and intentional about your input and what goes into your mind. That makes it so much easier to start listening to God, because suddenly God's not competing with all the noise of the world. And you're not competing, trying to hear the whisperings of God over the incessant shouting of the world. And it's so much easier to get guidance and direction and comfort, love, and like really feeling that love from God. And that will help you move in flow. I am a high achiever. I've always been a high achiever. I've always been a big performer. We'll go into my story in some later episodes, but like I performed for love. And that has been really hard to get out of performance and more into presence. Really slowing down and honoring changes in my body, and my level of endurance is not what it used to be. My stamina is not what it used to be. Sleep certainly is not what it used to be. But my body was like, if you don't listen to us, we will make you listen to us, and you are not going to like it at all. And so while my brain fires like all of these different ideas and all of these things that we can do, my body is like, yeah, but how about we feel safe first? Yeah, but how about we get some sleep first? Yeah, but how about we quiet all of the chatter first? And this is a practice that I continue to do every single day. But moving in flow is actually really, really nice, because when you will allow yourself to slow down, and it's not that stupid rule of slow down so that you can speed up, like it justifies our rest. Like slow down so that you can hear God, right? Like slow down so that you can be on His errand, rather than these pointless things that we think have meaning, but we find at the end of that road, it has no meaning at all. And do we learn things along the way? Yeah, we did. But would we do the same thing had we known? Like, absolutely not. We wouldn't have. So let's talk about a tool that you can use called the rhythm reset. Look at the season that you're in right now, personally, professionally, spiritually. And ask God, what's the rhythm that you're inviting me into for this season? And then write down one shift that would align with that rhythm. So let me give you an example. Maybe it's cutting back on meetings. Maybe it's adding a Sabbath practice. Go back to church. If you haven't been to church for a while, go back to church. We don't villainize Alcoholics Anonymous. We don't villainize group therapy. We don't villainize any of that. So why do we villainize organized religion? We're there trying to have a deeper relationship with God. My husband likes to call church Sinners Anonymous. Yep, because we are all sinners and we're all there trying to do a little bit better the next week and to increase our relationship with God and with our Lord. And so, yeah, are there going to be people there that rub you the wrong way? Of course there are. Have you ever been to group therapy before? Have you ever been in an Al-Anon or an AA meeting before? Yeah, there's people. Have you ever been sitting in the waiting room before? You're going to have people that rub you the wrong way. So what? When your relationship with God and coming closer to the Lord is more important to you than getting triggered by somebody who spouts off false doctrine or who is judgy McJudge your pants, then you can okay, yeah, you do you, boo. And I'm going to do me because I'm here because I need the Lord in my life. And if you think that I'm on a soapbox, I absolutely am. We need to go back to church. And if you're going to church, then maybe it's instead of just sitting in the pew and waiting for the time to run down so you can go back home and sleep and watch TV or whatever it is, maybe it's finding the message that the Lord has for you that day. Wonderful leaders, the prophet of our church, President Russell M. Nelson says that he encourages us to expand our spiritual capacity beyond what it currently is, so that we can receive more inspiration and more revelation. And that's that muscle that needs to be worked. So do you think shifting that would align your rhythm with the season that you're in? Making church mean something more? We're going back to church when you haven't been for a long time. And and there might be some people that need to take sensitivity classes that say, oh, you're here? It's been a really, really long time. Most people are wanting to welcome you. The 99% of people are welcoming and loving and are happy that you're there. And so, and those who aren't, speaks more about them than it does about you, right? And so somebody needed to hear that. That certainly was not in my notes to talk about today, but I invite you to go back to church for one reason and one reason only, so that you can calm your mind just a bit so that you can hear the Lord more clearly in your life. Another thing that you could do to help align with that rhythm is being fully present at dinner without your phone. That's a hard one too. Those things are our binkies, aren't they? They're our pacifiers, and yet, boy, do they upset us. Our little input machines. Leave your phone in your room when you go to dinner and be present with your family and insist they talk to you. Insist they talk to you. Here's my point. The point is not to juggle perfectly. The point is to move in harmony with the season that you're in, and let it be okay, whatever season you're in. Perhaps you're in a building season, and so this is a really full season for you. That's okay. I've stopped saying busy. I'm so busy because society puts this badge of honor on busy, and it makes it, busy equates with importance, and I don't like that. There are full seasons and there are less full seasons. There are seasons of harvest and there are seasons of reaping and sowing, all of the things, right? But if you are in a full season right now, if you're in a building season right now, that's okay too. Communicate that. I'm in a really full season right now. It's not going to last forever. Make sure you keep your word with that it's not going to last forever. This is a building season that we're in right now. Remember, the point is to move in harmony with the season that you're in. So whether it's personally, professionally, spiritually, physically, mentally, where are you at in your life? And you might be in different seasons. Personally, you might be in a different season professionally, although I have found that there's a whole lot of overlap with what season you're in. Generally, we're not in, I'm in a rebuild season with my health, and I also happen to be in a rebuild season with my business. And I'm in a rebuild season with my family and my relationships, just because I want to redefine them, and I want them to be deeper and more meaningful to all of us. But if you take just a minute and just like do a little inventory and a little assessment about what season are you in right now, you're going to see a whole lot of overlap going on in your life. And this is what I would say for your rhythm reset, because balance is a myth. So this is about like getting into the right rhythm. If you are in a really full season at work and you are in a rest season in your health and in your body, listen to your body and trust that God will make up the difference in your work. Other people will come in to be able to lift if you can't lift. Like other things will be taken care of. We sacrifice our health and our well-being and all of the things for numbers and for metrics and for productivity. And we have to stop that. We have to stop that. We've got to listen to what our body is telling us, what our spirit is telling us if we're in a slowdown season. If you're in a slowdown season in your body and you're in a busy, I hate that word, busy season at work, a full season at work, building season, ask for help. Ask for help with that. Now, my friend, if success has left you feeling exhausted, it's because you've been following a version of success that was actually not meant for you. And that's why I created the Obedient Rebel Way. It's a free resource to help you trade the grind for God and take your peace back in just a few minutes. Think of it as your first step into a different kind of success, one that restores instead of drains. Go to theobedientrebel.com/way or scan the QR code on your screen to get instant access. It's my gift to you. Again, go to theobedientrebel.com/way or scan the QR code on your screen and enjoy the Obedient Rebel Way. One last reminder before we wrap this episode. The world told you that balance was the key to success, that if you managed harder, stretched thinner, and performed better, you'd finally feel at peace. But that's the lie we rebel against. We are not broken. The model is. We rebel against the lies that keep us tired, small, and stuck. We obey the God who made us for clarity, freedom, and prosperity without the grind. And we anchor in these truths. We don't chase. We receive. We don't play the game. We change the atmosphere. We don't measure success by balance. We measure it by peace. This is our creed. This is our calling. This is the Obedient Rebel. My friend, I invite you to join the Obedient Rebel movement. And if this episode spoke to you, here are some simple ways that you can join our movement. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you never miss an episode. Rate and review the show. It helps more faith-driven leaders find this message. And share this episode with a friend who's tired of chasing balance that never comes. Please leave comments in the comment section. What are you rebelling against? What are you afraid to rebel against? What do you want to learn to rebel against? We read your comments and design the show accordingly. Our goal is to reach 10,000 subscribers in the next 3 months, not just for numbers, but because every subscriber is one more voice proving the world's model wrong. So hit subscribe, leave a comment, write a review, and share. Together we rise. And until next time, keep your peace close, your obedience strong, and your rebellion holy.